Welcome, college baseball fans, specifically ACC fans, specifically America. I'm joined by my buddy Micah. We haven't done a live show together since Omaha. Jake and I did the first episode together a couple weeks ago. But Micah, how are you doing?
Monty, I'm just glad to know you're feeling better. Last time we did this podcast, you were quite ill and definitely not in a radio booth with me in Omaha. So glad to know you're feeling better, Monty. You're also clean shaven, like fully clean shaven, Monty.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that since the beginning of the year, but no, Monty, I'm good. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm definitely enjoying a little bit of just relaxation. I think Sierra's happy I'm home too, that I'm not just, constantly in a different state watching baseball, but maybe she's not. Maybe she wishes I was still on the road. But overall, man, just pretty. I mean, that was a fun week last week. I'm really bummed we didn't get to overlap, but I'm glad we were able to get some extra content for our followers. And I mean, I'm very thankful because my personal Twitter blew up a little bit, so I can't complain.
Yeah, you are a cult hero in Texas A&M
Gig
Twitter.
'em.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Right.
So if you haven't had a chance, follow Micah, his personal on at Micah _CBC.
That's right.
So he's got some good stuff on there. It's all baseball, right? So that way,
all baseball.
Yeah, that way once that the Just Means Less page goes towards football, you've still got Micah in his personal page covering college baseball. So as we just talked about, you and I both got to see America, Team USA. You got to see both teams. I got to see one of them. I watched quite a bit of it on TV as well, so I was able to see. And talk to me through about this experience, because was this your first time seeing the collegiate team?
Yeah, it's my first time. I'm still bummed I haven't been to Cary. I was really hoping when I asked around the first time I was there, Monty, I didn't know if they did like an extended camp after the games were done. I was hoping there would be, just so I had a chance to have an excuse to go over to Cary just to see what that complex looks like. But I mean, it was really cool. I want to tip my hat, and I'll do it literally because Monty gave me crap that one time, to USA Baseball for doing the format they did this year. I mean, doing the two teams instead of just having guys back in Cary or cutting guys was just so much better. I know, speaking for the Johnson City community, a lot of folks thought it was really cool that they got to see multiple Team USA guys, multiple Vols, one on, some on the Appy League team, some on the, USA team. So that was a really good experience, and overall just really well done by by USA Baseball. But I mean, we got to see the best players in the world, freshman, sophomore, at least non-draft eligible guys, right? I mean, that was really, really cool.
Is your hat low profile?
It is.
Oh, nice. I just noticed. I was looking at the difference between mine. I was like, he's got to have a low profile one. Anyway, yeah, I really like the format. At first, I was a little kind of bummed because I knew it was going to take away from the Cape, but the Cape did okay with for a couple weeks, and you still had, I mean, like you said, the best freshmen and sophomores in the country. Obviously, I think we tweeted about it, both of us, several times, about how many good freshmen in the ACC weren't representing Team USA as well, which is rather impressive. Alex Sosa obviously got a little bit of a late call. He got to join Team USA, but talk to me about. Give me one guy to start off who impressed you the most.
I mean, obviously my guy Drew Burris was quite impressive, but I think the one that caught me off guard the most, and I hope Zion hears this, is Zion Rose, because he was very good, but when I saw the list of names that came out for Team USA, I think he was the most surprising one for me from the ACC, especially because there were two guys from Louisville already with Patrick Forbes and Tucker Biven. I wasn't sure that Louisville, kind of with the year they had, would have a third guy. And I want to make this very clear. I think Zion Rose deserved to be on that team. I was like, I wonder how he's going to do. And obviously he started very, very slow. But I don't know if he was just so excited to see me in Pulaski that he just decided he wanted to hit, but he hit incredibly well while I was around, which was really exciting to see. And I'm really happy for him. He's an incredible human being.
Yeah.
So.
in the 3 games that you saw him and he went, I said he went 4 for 11, right?
I think so.
I
And
think
he was like one for something else the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So,
Just,
hey, Zion, if you're watching, man, leave me on the pass list all year. I'll be there. But no, I mean, it was really cool to see him, because I think what was the coolest part, Monty, I don't know if you experienced it in Cary or not, but like the amount of scouts that were there. And you know me, I'm a pretty personable guy. So I'll ask them, hey, what team are you from? And who are you looking at? And all this stuff. And some of the scouts I talked to, when I asked them, because I told them I covered the ACC, like what guys kind of are they most excited to see? And then like obviously I saw some of them. I saw them, day 1 in Pulaski, and then day 4 for me in Fayetteville. Like, hey, who like how you feeling about that guy? Zion was one that they spoke very highly of, which obviously gets me juiced up for him. So, I mean, I was just very, very happy for him. I mean, he deserved it. I'm excited that it sounds like he's going to be an everyday outfielder for that team and not catching anymore. I don't know if he's pleased about that or not. I think he is, but I mean, that athleticism just needs to be out in a position where he can make plays like he does.
Yeah, I think he probably just wants to, I would imagine just wants to play the field in some capacity. But for me, yeah, we talked about Drew Burress. He was also very good when you were there. He hit a home run in back-to-back nights because he immediately went back to the Cape. But, who really impressed me, who continues to impress me this summer is Patrick Forbes. He had 2 games, 5 innings. I think he had just 1 earned run given up, 7 strikeouts. But when we talk about him on the Cape, he's had 3 starts on the Cape, and I don't think he's given up a run yet for Brewster. So he's had a fantastic summer. And it's funny, I don't know how you want to address this question, but Canes Cats Heat asks, how much is Patrick Forbes worth right now if he hits the transfer portal?
Well, good thing is the portal's closed. So at least for now, I mean, he can do it again in the fall, but it's closed for now. So that's good. I mean, I think he's got to be worth a lot. I mean, I know I'm obviously right, Monty. I'm always going to hype up Louisville and Georgia Tech whenever I get the chance to. But I genuinely loved what I see. That's the only thing, Monty, that my only regret or whatever you want to call it, from a standpoint of what I wish I would have accomplished was I didn't get to see Patrick pitch. Nor did I, and I should have talked to him after that last game on the 4th. I just was so wrapped up with trying to grab as many interviews as possible that I kind of forgot that, I haven't talked to Patrick Forbes yet. Shout out to his mom, by the way. She engages with like almost everything that I tweet now. So shout out to her. But like, I mean, just overall, I mean, his stuff is like, shout out to Tyler. I think Tyler was the first video I saw. Our guy, Tyler Jennings from Prospects Live, right?
Prospects Live.
Okay. Yeah. Like his videos just showing his stuff. And I mean, again, what we've seen on the Cape from him. I mean, obviously it's a Cape USA show. I mean, Monty, we're not going to spoil it yet, but there is some rumors that Monty and I might go check out a little Cape ball here in a couple weeks. I hope that in that case I'll get to watch Patrick pitch then, because obviously I didn't get to see him throw in person this year with the injury and everything. So I mean, the fact that this kid started in the outfield on opening day for Louisville is now looking like one of the best pitchers in the ACC is just incredible.
Yeah, I got really excited when he came in as a reliever during the Stars and Stripes game because he was up near 96, 97, which is
the one that you went to, right?
So no, that was the one that was before they separated the teams. They did the Stars.
Okay, so yeah, it's not the one that I was. I just want to make sure I didn't miss the one that I like. When I was like, did he pitch at the one I was at?
No. This was before they split the teams. Before I could get out there, it was the week before when one of the first 2 games, and he was up at 96, 97. I got really excited, but that was a little bit. That velocity was a little bit different because he was coming out of the bullpen and just amped up. So he is still sitting like 92 to 94, but he's got some great stuff. Really excited about him. We saw a lot of ACC guys. One thing I wanted to talk about is you got your first look at 2 Stanford guys.
Yeah, goodness gracious, those guys are going to be good.
Matt Scott, is it Joey
Pacheco is how I was told.
Pacheco, okay.
But yeah. I don't know because he did not pitch when I was there. I only saw him throw a little bit in the pen on the pregame on the 4th. But I mean, goodness gracious, those guys are like. I did have a conversation with Matt Scott after his performance, and again, I asked him just kind of about what it means with the ACC, and one thing that I think was pretty clear to me just talking with him is not that Stanford was tanking this season, because no program ever does that in college baseball, but they were really trying to work through some things, and they feel very good about what's coming for them this year. They're very excited for the travel. You always hear the college guys talk about, the best memories of playing the sport isn't necessarily the games. It's those memories you make on the road with your teammates. Well, Stanford's going to have plenty of time to make some memories on the road. So I really like what they bring to the table. I'm not going to spoil anything, Monty, but tomorrow I'm going to tweet out my Super 16, expanding on my Omaha 8. And I will say that
you having trouble narrowing it down to 8. Is that what it is?
Yeah, basically. It actually ended up in this tweet, Monty, there's going to be 24 teams. I'm going to have 8 teams that I consider too.
I love it. I love it.
But I will say Stanford is on this list. So, overall, man, it was really cool. And again, I mean, I think that the best part was, and this is not to sound too cliche, but like Matt Scott just sounds like a Stanford man, just very polite, very well-spoken, short, sweet, doesn't ramble on or stutter or anything like that. It's not a shot at some of these other guys where I love that Drew Burris and Zion Rose will just kind of go on tangents, but he was just to the point. He answered the questions honestly. I think my favorite thing was I complimented him on his performance, and he's like, yeah, my fastball just wasn't there. And I was like, again, I don't know what his fastball looked like previously. And going back, and I'm like, it kind of makes sense because he definitely relied on the off speed more in that game. But I mean, it was really just cool to meet them and kind of talk to them just about that transition.
Yeah, I'm excited about Stanford. I'm excited about packed ACC After Dark for games that are in Palo Alto or Berkeley. And we talked about Matt Scott and Joey
Volcheko.
There we go. I'm looking down at what I've got written, and it does not work the way it's. I cannot work through it that way. They've also had a third pitcher. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, who was a freshman All-American.
Oh yeah, it was. Oh my goodness, this is gonna kill me now too.
So their pitching staff is looking pretty legit, and should work well in the ACC.
And shout out to them, the only ACC team to retweet me through the whole thing. So shout out to my new Stanford Cardinal.
They are not official yet. They're official August 2nd or something.
I don't know, because the ACC tweeted it out. Like that's what I don't understand. Like it probably isn't. But by the way, it was Christian Lim.
Christian Lim. There we go.
Other individual you're talking about.
Thank you.
But yeah, I don't know. It's still really cool, Monty. When I go on Stanford's Twitter page, and the third tweet on their account is my retweet.
From yours, yeah.
It's a little. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little giddy about that. But
I don't think we can get past talking about Jamie Arnold.
Oh my gosh, pitcher of the tournament,
America's ace. I mean, he was part of a combined no-hitter.
Didn't he struggle in that Stars and Stripes game?
He did. He was getting squeezed a little bit in that first Stars and Stripes game. They did that. They have a pitch count on those innings, so he only threw I think a third of an inning.
All I know is, Monty, I think honestly he should have been the guy I mentioned, just because my brain, Monty, after that Stars and Stripes game went, I hope Jamie Arnold's not broken, because he struggled a little bit we didn't see that Jamie Arnold in the postseason that we saw in the regular season. And I started to kind of worry. And then, of course, I missed him by a night. But, that performance that he had against Chinese Taipei, I mean, that's the Jamie Arnold we know and love. And, I mean, it was great to see that because, if and when Cam Leiter returns and hopefully is back to his normal form, I mean, we've talked about it before on the show and off the show too, right? Like, what's going to be the best 1-2 punch in the ACC? And obviously that Scott and Volcheko at Stanford would like a word. But, I mean, Leiter and Arnold are going to be hard to top.
Oh yeah. It was a lot of fun to watch him dazzle. And it was funny when he struggled in that Stars and Stripes game. Again, we're shouting out Tyler again. I was messaging Tyler during that, and Tyler was very frustrated with the strike zone because we're both big Jamie Arnold guys, and he was getting squeezed a bit, and that probably played a factor in his unquality outing. But yeah, we had a ton of ACC guys. It was the most in the most of any conference in the country to represent USA. And again, when we talked about the freshman group, there were so many freshmen that didn't make the team that are super talented. I had a whole list, and it was extensive. I mean, Carson Curse did something in the Appy League that you tweeted about, right?
Yeah, Carson Curse has looked great. I'm hoping I get a chance to interview him at some point. We've seen some really good guys because oh my goodness, Adam Mogpock has been fantastic for Elizabethton.
Gavin Gallagher, who was the Chapel Hill regional player or player of the regional, is up in the Cape. He didn't get an invite.
Yeah.
Macon Winslow, a Duke guy. I mean, there's so many good freshmen. I cannot wait to see them all as sophomores.
Yeah, I think the highlight of the story, I know you mentioned him coming late, but it was really cool, Alex Sosa's story. For those wondering, there's obviously no true thing. I was told that Luke Stevenson had just caught a lot and needed some time off, and honestly, that's probably true. He looked a little banged up, but again, that's what happens when you catch pretty much the whole postseason and then go straight to catching Team USA. But
he caught every game but one for UNC, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, he was obviously probably due for a little bit of a break, and it was a really cool story. Obviously having the NC State battery multiple times, as well as just seeing the I think it was Smith, right? Yeah, Smith versus Sosa battle there in Fayetteville. So that was really cool. His story was pretty neat too, and I think my favorite thing, Monty, I think I told you this, but for those that are listening, I went up to Sosa to grab him, and he's like, "Why do you want to interview me after my 0 for 2 night? You want to talk about why I can't hit?" And I go, "No, I want to talk about how 24 hours ago you were probably at home in your bed getting a text like, 'Hey, you're coming to Johnson City, Tennessee.'" So I thought that was pretty cool, like hearing his story and how he was fishing, and he was really scared that he missed the phone call from Elliot Avent, and he's like, "Oh God, I'm in trouble." And when all it is just good news that you've been called upon to be the catcher for Team USA. So that was pretty cool to hear his story. But
that is pretty awesome. I remember seeing him in the lineup all of a sudden. I was like, wait a second, he wasn't with the team. How they didn't even like.
Gotta shout out my guy Justin Cook. I actually knew he was coming, Monty, before the game. He's like, "Hey, Sosa's gonna be here be there tonight." And I'm like Alex? He's like, "Yeah, he's catching." And I'm like, because Sosa got subbed out late in the game. In that the night before. So I was like, yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense. Like,
in the summer league game?
No, well, in the Appy or the Monday night game, they subbed Stevenson out. Excuse me, they subbed Stevenson out, like a pinch hitter basically in the 8th or 9th, and I think someone caught for an inning or something. I remember who it was that caught, but he's a catcher, but not really a catcher. It was a kid
from George, I think is
the Jordan kid. So, it was, or Jamal George. Yeah, you're right. So, obviously that was kind of like they didn't want him to catch. So they wanted to bring an actual catcher in. So I thought for sure Zion was going to do it, but he didn't bring his catching gear is what I was told. So very convenient, Zion, but it worked out really well. It was really cool to see. I mean, I think the best part is, Monty, it was like the ACC All-Stars. It really felt like we were watching. That's the team you got to see too, right? I'm not mistaken on that. So like, it was really cool to get to see, a lot of guys. And I think the thing that I took away from it, I don't know if you took away the same thing or not, Monty, but a lot of these guys obviously have played with each other before. When you're this good, you're going to be on select teams, national teams, regional teams together. But just hearing them kind of talk about, like, seeing like how Alex Sosa seems to be, at least at the bare minimum, very well respected by a Daniel Cuvée, and like just go down the line. Like, again, like when Sosa's interview, it's the ACC guys putting hats on his head. Like, just the fun that these guys had. Obviously they compete against each other in the regular season, but just seeing, and there's guys obviously we haven't even talked about. I mean, Jason DeCaro was pretty good from UNC. He obviously was on that freshman team, or I guess it's technically the Stripes team, but the freshman team, the select team. So it was just really, really neat to see that. And again, too, like just to see, I think the best part, like honestly, Monty, I know this might be unfair because I'm sure this Chinese Taipei team is good. I definitely enjoyed the Appy League games more than I enjoyed the Chinese Taipei games. They're just, I don't know if maybe it's the fact that those kids on those Appy teams felt a little, not disrespected, right? But those are kids that could have potentially been on that USA team. So they're a little more, chip on their shoulder. We saw some really cool stories. The kid that walked it off for the Appy League team on the Monday night, was struggling to get offers in the portal. And then 2 or 3 days later, he's committed to Illinois and got a pretty good deal from what it made sound like to me. So really happy for him. Like, it was just really cool how Team USA did it.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned the guys they played with each other before sometimes. The Team USA guy that to set up the interviews was very surprised with me that I wanted to talk to Luke Stevenson and Kyle Johnson. He goes, "Who do you cover that you want to talk to a UNC guy and a Duke guy?" And I was like, "I cover the whole ACC." So I get down there and I asked KJ, I said, "Hey, what's it like throwing to Stevenson? Are you worried he's going to know your stuff?" They played together in travel ball.
Yeah.
So Stevenson caught him a lot. So he said it was like being back on travel ball, with Luke back there again. So I thought that was really cool, those two guys. But all the players have said they've had a lot of fun getting to know each other, and it's going to make the competition next year even more fun when they're playing against friends. And competing against them. So, because then I'm sure there's more playful banter as opposed to, just quietly going about your business. You can kind of be kind of funny with with your friends.
I mean, I know we're an ACC show, so we're always going to be a little bit biased, right, Monty? But does it not feel like the ACC is going to take another step forward next year? I mean, I know the SEC is. I mean, I think you're willing to admit it too. I know I am. It is the best conference in college baseball, but it feels like the ACC is getting closer and closer and closer every single year. I mean, there's a reason why that freshman team was pretty much all ACC guys. I mean, the lineup, again, in that Stars and Stripes game, the most people in the lineups were ACC guys. Obviously, the starter, for obviously, right, Drew Burris, the freshman of the year, unanimous across the board, ACC guy, and obviously was on the Stars team. It was just it was really cool just to see, and again, a lot of teams represented. Half the conference, I think. NC State, North Carolina, Duke, Wake with Merrick Houston, Louisville, Miami, Florida State. So yeah, at least half, and then Stanford. So yeah, half the conference is there. So that's really cool. And again, Cam Canarella would have been there if he didn't get banged up. So
and Aiden Kanak,
Clemson guy that's there.
I imagine Kanak needed some rest.
Yeah,
he had an invite as well.
Yeah, so you're talking about 8, 9, potentially even 10 teams in this conference being represented. I mean, I haven't skipped Virginia, so that is over half. So again, and Brent Renfro from Virginia Tech. So I mean, we can just keep going down the conference at this point, and it's almost like which school didn't have any. But I mean, overall, it was just really, really cool to see them shine. And again, like Adam Mogpok was very impressive from Boston College for the Appy League West team against Team USA. I think he was 2 for 3 in that, and he had an at-bat, Monty, that was really, really cool because you could tell that he was struggling to see the ball, but he just kept fighting and fighting, and then finally poked one over. And I've never seen someone so giddy for a single. It was really cool because you could tell it meant something to him. I hope to get a chance to interview him while he's in Elizabeth, and just to kind of see A, if he remembers that, but B, obviously he's tearing it up right now in the Appy League in general. So it's been really cool just to see a lot of ACC success. We're talking Cape and whatnot, but we've seen a lot of Pitt success this summer too.
I was going to say, but as we transition from Team USA to Cape, let's take a little stop in the Appy League. Let's hear about our Pitt and BC players that you've gotten to see and who's impressed you.
Kyle Kipp from Boston College, obviously a Kingsport Axeman guy.
Pitcher.
Pitcher Kyle Kipp. I was going to get to what I was going to say. It would probably make it clear he was a pitcher, but his stuff has just been unreal in the Appy League. I was talking to there's a guy that his whole life is dedicated to Kingsport baseball. His name's Mark Davis. Shout out to Mark. He's like, this is one of the best pitchers I've seen in the time we've had Appy League guys. We're talking about Hollis Fanning, who's obviously at NC State. They've had some North Carolina guys. Heck, they got oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank on the kid's name now for Tennessee. But he was on Team USA. He was on the select team.
Dean Curley?
No, not Dean Curley. Dylan Loy. Dylan Loy is on the Kingsport Axeman. He's obviously Loy's only pitched once for Kingsport, but he's like, I think that Kyle Kipp might be better than Dylan Loy. And I'm like, that is a very spicy take, but I love it. So he's been very, very impressive. I've got to see Sebastian Piscarita. I don't know. Our announcer says it in a way that I did not say it, so
I
I'm
can
sorry.
see his spelling in my head as you say
Yeah,
that.
I'm sorry I'm saying it wrong, Sebastian, but he's been pretty good when the games I've seen him catch for the
he got a
action.
couple of late starts, I think, towards the end of the year for Pitt.
Yeah, he had that home run that was really big in that game that kind of clinched them a spot in the ACC tournament. So overall, like I've been very impressed with what Pitt. Again, Matt Porter was the pitcher of the week this week in the Appy League for Pulaski. I have not seen him pitch yet, but I've heard a lot of great things. That's a nice thing. The Appy's a pretty close knit group. So it's been really cool to kind of see some of these guys do what they've been doing, and I'm hoping that's probably what I'm going to be doing the next week or two. Monty is just every once in a while catching a game across the app. You just try to time it up with some ACC guys. I'm starting to finally get some insight on when especially these pitchers might be going, because that's kind of the big thing. I don't want to drive 45 minutes and then I don't get to see an ACC guy. So, but it's been really cool to see the success that these guys are having, and I think the ACC as a whole has gotten better in the portal too, which is really crazy to think about. And we're seeing it from the summer league guys we are committed to Pitt, committed to BC, committed to Notre Dame. Even we're like, wow, these guys are pretty good.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about that. 3 guys that I want to highlight in the Cape that if you're trying to watch some new transfer guys coming into the ACC, Nate Early for the Wareham Gatemen, he's going to be a Louisville Cardinal. He's impressing. He was one of my players of the week this week for the ACC in the Cape. He went 4 for 10, 2 doubles, home run, RBI, looking great. Ethan Conrad, who is transferring to Wake Forest, he is 10 for 21 this past week. A double, a home run, 6 RBIs, 8 stolen bases. So he's going to wreak some havoc on the base paths. And then he didn't make my team of the week this week, but Luke Gaffney, he's transferring from Purdue. I believe you're familiar with him. You probably saw him in person when they played ETSU. He's had a pretty good start in the Cape. So if there's 3 guys I'm highlighting transfer wise, position player wise, coming into the ACC in the Cape, those are the 3 guys.
Yeah, I'm actually fortunate. I've gotten to see 2 of those 3 guys in person. Ethan Conrad's transferring from Marist. They played us the second week of the season in 2023, his freshman year there. And by us, I mean ETSU, obviously. And I remember watching. I was like, "How the excuse my French, but how the heck did this kid end up at Marist?" Like, no offense to the Marist Red Foxes, but like that kid, I mean, he was good from the get go there. That's a huge pickup for Wake. I really like what Wake's done in the portal. I think Tom Walter and that staff have done a really great job of this year maybe not went the way they had hoped to, but they're reloaded. I feel pretty good about them. Probably being like, maybe it's better they fly a little bit under the radar next year than necessarily being the preseason unanimous number 1. But I really like Conrad. Luke Gaffney, when I saw it, he went to Clemson. I mean, I'm going to say right now, that's the best portal pickup in the ACC. And that might be a crazy take. That's 100% coming from bias. But I know a lot about Luke Gaffney. Shout out to my friend Hunter Colin Roberts. He is the Dobo over at Purdue. When I was there, when we played there, ETSU, obviously, he talked about just how he was a little scared that Luke was doing so well. He's like, someone in the portal is going to come calling for this kid. And I'm glad that he ended up in the ACC and not maybe in the SEC or elsewhere. He's incredible. So that's a huge, huge pickup for Clemson. I mean, and obviously he's tearing it up, up in the Cape too. So it's not just him beating up on Big Ten competition.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. So again, if you're looking for guys to watch out for, those 3 guys. If you're looking for a Cal guy to watch out for, Jared Advincula. I probably butchered his name, but he just rakes. He's a big singles guy, but he rakes. Who do you think they're not of all players in the Cape, not just qualified, but all players? Who do you think has the OPS, leads in OPS? I'll give you a hint. He's a friend of the program for me.
I mean, it's Henry Godbout. Oh, friend of the program to you. If it's not Henry Godbout, who would be?
We interviewed him in Omaha.
Alex Lodis?
He is he currently.
Is it Lodis or Lodice? I forgot. He told us, and I still don't remember.
I was feeling pretty good about it before you said it. Now I can't remember, but Alex Lodis I think it's Lodi's. 1.359 OPS. He is 9 for 18 on the year, 3 doubles, a home run, 2 RBIs. He's doing great. A guy with a similar name, the exact same last name, Kyle Lodi's. He's another transfer. He's going from Augusta to Georgia Tech. Buzz. We're excited about him. I don't know how those two are related, but they do seem to like each other's stuff. So I know they're not brothers, but I need to reach out to one of them and ask if they're cousins because they act like they're, they retweet each other's stuff, and yeah. So got to figure that out. But Henry Godbout's doing all right. He was one of my players of the week. He went 8 for 25. He had 3 doubles, a home run, 4 RBIs. He's the only UVA guy in the Cape right now, I believe. They did have the JUCO transfer Chris Arroyo up there, but I think he got released by whoever was with him. I think Cullen McKay was supposed to go up there, but obviously he's in the transfer portal. We haven't heard where he's transferred to yet, right?
That's correct. I have not heard where Cullen's
Ungate went to Mississippi State, but yeah, Drew Farreau also made my team of the week. He went 5 for 19 with a double. So Florida State's infield looking really, really good. Okay, so June, way too shifty. I think I heard that Kyle and Alex were cousins on a broadcast.
That's what I'm doing right now, Monty, is I'm trying to figure out because it said on Kyle's page on Augusta that he had a brother, but it didn't say the brother's name. So I was like,
but they're not from the same place.
No, they're not. Yeah, I know.
So I think they're cousins because I know they weren't brothers, but yeah. But Lodi's has been fantastic. I'd love to see him take a step forward. I've got the locked in Lodi meme.
Wait, which Lodi's do you want to see take a step forward?
Both. We are a Lodi's podcast now.
Or should we print the shirt Lodi's lovers? And then
yeah, there we go. Yeah, and now I can use 2 different versions of the same meme because Kyle actually followed me without me even following him.
I think it'd be funny if you just replace the face on the one spot and then like off in the distance just like fade the other one's face in the background.
So pitching wise, it's been a little bit hit or miss for the ACC, but the guys I've been most impressive with, Will Ray is having a fantastic summer.
Yeah, Nick's all giddy. I can tell you that. He's not on the show, but I know he's all excited.
Lucas Malstead probably doesn't surprise anybody that he's on this list as a top reliever in the Cape. But Ed Hart at Duke has really impressed me. He's been really, really good coming out of the bullpen. He's going to have an expanded role for Duke this year with the few pitchers they're losing. It's going to be really interesting. But then a guy that we saw a couple good starts with, another guy that's transferring to Wake Forest. He has since been released, so he's not pitching anymore. But Logan Lunsford, the Missouri to Wake Forest transfer, has been really good. And again, Patrick Forbes, you got to watch him. It's a blast. He plays for Brewster. I know Canes Cats Heat has gotten to see him a lot because Cuvée plays for Brewster. So, let's say we're going up to the Cape, Micah. Who are you most excited to watch? I mean, you already kind of said it, but so
I think honestly, right? I have Buzzball on my mind. I do want to see Kyle Lodi's, see him in person, because obviously I'll be the first to admit that I never tuned into an Augusta Jaguars game. I do love D2 ball, but sorry, Kyle, not familiar with your game. I am really excited to see Will Ray too. Nick's always talked about how good he is, and again, I just haven't got to see much of him. I really think he's going to be a big part if Wake Forest can get back to that Omaha conversation. So obviously, I'd love to see him pitch. And Monty, you want to know a super fun fact? Will Ray is currently working on the new Just Means Less ACC logo. So he's helping us out with growing the brand as well. I guess he does some little graphic design on the side. I don't know. He slid into our DM saying he wanted to try to recreate the logo. So
the same person?
Yes, like that Will Ray. I would show the DM, but I don't know if that's fair to show that to him or not. But
nope, that's fine. I'm just.
But yeah, it was pretty funny because when he DM'd me, I was like, okay, because he doesn't even follow us. So first off, Will, what are we doing? But like, So probably those two for sure. I mean, I do really want to see Joey too. Joey Pacheco, obviously from Stanford.
Yeah, I
you
think he
know,
started last night.
yeah, I think so because he's on your top performers
Yeah, yeah.
for the
The
day.
problem is on Mondays
And,
when I release 2 because I release the weekly one and the daily
yeah,
one.
yeah. So I know, I think those three for sure. Because again, a lot of these guys I've seen. I mean, honestly, Monty, if I'm being honest, I think my favorite thing is just watching backyard baseball. I mean, that's what it feels like every single one of those games are.
Well, especially
You know,
Born with the way they have the like that house right in the background. You can
oh,
see the
Monty, it was. I
announcers.
think my favorite thing because if I didn't do Team USA last week, I thought about potentially messing around and trying to do like a weekend on the Cape for the 4th because I knew I could have more time off that way. And I was looking at it and I was just like, man, some of these are just. I mean, not to be disrespectful, but my gosh, they're awful. I
They're
mean,
only being used. I mean, I think they're being used year round, but they're only
yeah,
being used.
they're high school
Right.
fields, but again, it's just the beauty of it's the beauty of the Cape. It really is just the majesticness. Plus, I mean, there's no better place to be for a summer as a player. I mean, the beaches out there are stunning. So I don't
Yeah.
think those guys are complaining too much if they have to play 2 or 3 innings on a less than ideal surface. If that means they get to chill at the beach the rest of the time, but
Yeah, no, I'm actually reading a book called The Last Best League, and it's about this. It's the last summer that they really get to play for love of the game, really,
hmm,
um, because after that, a lot of them are going to pro ball, and
true.
it's a different thing. But you're still a kid, and it's that 19 to 20-year-old range typically, and it's a really good story. It's about 20 years old now, so some of what goes on in the Cape is dated because there's a lot more turnover now, and NIL plays a factor and all that. Because they were talking about guys having like day jobs, and I was like, no, I don't think they're doing that now. But it's really cool, and I can't wait to have the chance to go up there if that's possible. But
I don't know. I mean, I'd love to go to an ice cream parlor and see Kyle Lodi scooping me a thing of ice cream and then scooping ground balls later in the
yeah,
game. But
yeah, I have seen the movie Summer Catch, so I basically know what it's all about,
I
right?
need to watch that because I feel like I have, but I'm not entirely sure. I keep mixing it up because at first I thought that was just Fever Pitch. But like, no, that's about the Red Sox.
Yeah, yeah.
So, sorry, all of Boston, all of Massachusetts is the same to me. But no, I mean, it's. I'm glad, Monty, that you care about the Cape Cod League because it's made me more interested in the Cape Cod League. And because of your graphics, I'm just going to give you your flowers real quick. Like, I now know what games to tune into for ACC guys. Because I'm not going to lie, I am way too lazy to try to figure out who's on what roster. So you kind of made it clear that some of these guys, like, who do you want to watch? Well, I can't remember the one team that has like one ACC guy. I'm like, well, it's not going to be them. But going through and just kind of seeing. Obviously, I'm biased to the Harwich Mariners because shout out to my guy Tommy Barth, the ETSU Buccaneer. But and there's a couple ACC guys on Harwich, right?
Huh?
There's a couple ACC guys on Harwich, right?
Henry Godbout, Macon Winslow.
Oh man, Tommy! Wow, ETSU UVA teammates. But unlike the last time I watched ETSU and UVA on the same field, I saw ETSU on UVA crime with Eric Becker striking out against Brady Fredericks of ETSU. But no, I mean this was it's. I'm sure hopefully you're having fun, Monty. I'm enjoying following the graphics. I know a lot of people are enjoying it as well. One
I'm
person that I met actually at Team USA. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank on his name now, but he covers the SEC. So that it'd be really cool if someone in the SEC did that. So good for you, Monty, for making the ACC mean just more in the Cape Cod League.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of fun to keep up with it. And if you're looking for a team, it's not necessarily ACC, but the YD Red Sox with that lineup, I think I tweeted about it the other day. You've got Burris leading off. You've got RJ Austin batting second, Vanderbilt guy. Batting third, you have Wahia Aloy, who is leading the Cape with like 9 home runs. Batting fourth, you have Anthony Martinez, another Team USA guy from UC Irvine.
UC Irvine, that's my guy.
Batting fifth, you have Ethan Petrie. I don't know. I would assume he got an invite to Team USA, turned it down. I don't know.
I would assume.
Yeah,
I don't know why you turn it down, but I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I think he had gone the year before. I don't know, but
yeah.
And then batting sixth, you have Easton Carmichael, who's a big time catcher for Oklahoma. Yeah. And then Gavin Gallagher is in one of those 7 to 9 spots, UNC guy, and then Phoenix Call, who I can't remember what school he goes to, but that guy can fly. So it's funny because YD apparently has had some of the best pitching in the Cape so far, but that lineup now they've got those Team USA guys back. I am enjoying watching day in and day out.
Is it Phoenix Cole Mathis? Is that what you're talking about?
Might have been. I'm not sure.
Because Phoenix Cole is a
Phoenix
college of
Call.
Charleston guy. What is it? Cole, like COLE?
Call.
Oh,
UCLA.
okay. Yeah, the other thing that was cool, Monty, is I think they have the best logo on the cape because they use the Chicago White Sox socks, but they are called the Red Sox.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. I saw a post game interview, and I was like, "What the? Like that's not what I expected them to be like about as rip off of the Boston Red Sox as possible." I'm like, "That's the Chicago White Sox logo
Yeah.
with the state of Massachusetts behind it."
Yeah.
Like,
Brewster Whitecaps. If you want to see Patrick Forbes,
yeah.
he pitches for Brewster, but also Cuvée and Farreau both play for every day, typically for Brewster. So there's
Monty,
lots
who's your
of
favorite Cape Cod team? You've watched so much of it. Who's your if when we go to the Cape, what team store are we stopping at to get you something?
It might be the Red Sox, the
Okay.
YD Red Sox. But it's really just trying to watch my guys. But it's fun, like you talked about. It's also fun to figure out some of these guys that aren't ACC guys and learn more about them because you've also got some lower division guys that have made it to the Cape, and those are it's a pretty big deal, and to find out some more about these guys.
Yeah, no, for sure. I can't wait to start watching it a little bit more now that I have some time. And I mean, the broadcasts are kind of brutal, but that's okay. Like that's summer collegiate baseball in general. At least it's free. Where the Appy League, I think you have to pay for it. So, at least free 99 is a lot better. But yeah, I mean, Monty, it's I really hope that we get to go up there.
June way too shifty says, "Do you all know the reasons teams usually release players?" I would imagine some of it's at the players' request as well.
Yeah, sometimes I know, like, if you're really struggling, they'll send you down just more for the sake of, like, there's other guys that they can put in the lineup, and there's no point in you just sitting around. But for the most time, well, from what I've been told, a lot of times it's more of, again, like, you've done your, you were only supposed to play for a month. You're only supposed to play for 6 weeks. You're only supposed to, innings limits for pitchers. Like, that's why I'm intrigued. Like, I've heard, Monty, that after that All-Star game, a lot of guys kind of start to really trickle out. Which is why conveniently that we might be going that week of All-Star break.
Yeah.
No spoilers or anything, but I think that I would assume that's most of it. I might actually text Tommy, who's up there for Harwich, again, the guy from ETSU, and see if he knows why, if any of his teammates have been released, kind of what the reasoning might be.
Yeah. But I mean, that's all we've got this week for ACC Central. On Thursday, we're doing a MLB draft special with Mark and Jake. Hopefully, if Jake has power.
Wow, I didn't even get invited. That's kind of brutal.
I was about to, before I was cut off, I was going to say, Micah, you are also welcome. But that'll be a little bit later at night because of Mark's time zone issues. So it's not too bad. 9:15 Eastern time, but it's that late because that's the earliest he can do it. But we'll be kind of previewing the big five, the top five guys in the draft, and then talking about some kind of later round guys who may or may not get drafted and might stay. We'll talk about that. Other than that, I'm continuing with the Cape Cod coverage. Micah is continuing with whatever he wants to do.
Probably be some Appy League coverage. I know on my page, Monty, I've got a lot of content ideas just from, I'm going to rank the top 10 ballparks I've been to. At some point, I think it's going to be next week, Monty, and you're welcome to obviously join me because I'd still love for you to rank them based off the ones you've seen / just, moderate / what you think based off pictures you've seen and stories I've told you. But I'm going to finally do my ACC ballpark rankings, just some things like that, just to keep the mood light. I know my hope, barring my schedule, is to, starting, sometime next week, kind of just tweet out daily players or teams that I've been, like, for example, one team non-ACC that I've been very impressed with is Kansas has done a great job in the portal. So I kind of want to highlight.
Noah's going to get excited. Noah's going to get real excited. He loves some Kansas.
So I want to highlight a program like Kansas, or again, obviously, like Mississippi State's done a great job in the portal. So we'll probably highlight
Central Florida.
Stuff. Yeah, my favorite thing is the Mississippi State Fighting Rams are really doing well, Monty, with those 3 VCU arms now all wearing.
I saw Taylor Taylor Davis's tweet about one of my VCU brothers. We're keeping that pipeline alive.
Monty, were those guys under Scheffler at VCU?
I would imagine so. Yeah, Hungate definitely was.
So if I would assume if all three are, why are they not Notre Dame? Imagine if those guys went to Notre Dame. Imagine what we'd be talking about with that program right now.
Oh man,
but,
yeah. I forgot we got report cards coming.
Yeah, that's why I said there might be. Well, I guess Monty, we wanted to do a live show with it. So is that going to be a Wednesday night thing potentially, or what do we?
Do you want to do it the week after instead? Like,
yeah, we can release them and then we can. Well, I mean, I say we just wait to release them and then do the show a day after. So maybe we.
Yeah. So we'll have the report cards coming next week.
Yeah.
With a live show. If you guys remember, we did the
A plus.
Micah's not grading Georgia Tech.
That's why I'm putting it out there now.
Oh, great! You're just trying to cut underneath me. But yeah, we've got lots of content still coming. We'll probably have a little bit of a break, in towards August as we gear up towards fall ball, and some of us will be covering football. Both of us may be covering football. Who knows? Not for the same group, but yeah.
Doing a little. Oh, that's right. Oh, I forgot about that.
Any final thoughts, Micah?
No. Obviously, this is the first show we've done since I got that Georgia Tech gear, so I got to give Georgia Tech a huge shout out. I mean, that was a lot of awesome stuff that they gave me, as well as it was really cool that some of the ACC guys, when they saw me in Team USA, were like Zion was like, it's finally nice to meet you. He gave me a lot of hard time about taking Louisville out of my final bracket. So my bad, Louisville guys. Speaking of Louisville guys, quick shout out, Isaac Humphrey committed to Ole Miss. Sad to see him leave the ACC, but really happy for him. He actually DM'd me, Monty, and said thanks for what we do. So shout out to you, Isaac. You're the best for that. But
he might get drafted too. I mean, he may.
Yeah, that's true. I mean.
So
hey, Baltimore Orioles. I don't know if the Orioles need another outfielder, but hey, hear me out.
Whatever's best for Isaac, we hope that comes your way.
Exactly. No, 100%. It's. I mean, I didn't get this from him, but it sounded like from some Ole Miss people that I kind of were deep diving. It sounds like he got a little NIL money, so that's good for him. I'm really happy for him. So
well deserved.
But I mean, Monty, it's going to be exciting, and I mean the fact that I'm juiced up for the fall, like I hope to hit the road this year and maybe hit some places. Like I haven't been to Boston College for an ACC football game. Maybe I schedule a little bird ball football action there in Chestnut Hill. We'll see. I don't know if I'm crazy enough to do it, but if there is anyone crazy enough to do it, it's probably me. So
there may be a fall trip to Atlanta on the cards for us, both
and
of us.
And a trip to see the cards on the cards for me as well. So these cards.
I got so confused. I was like, what? I was thinking St. Louis all of a sudden. I don't know what. I was like, you had your chance when you were driving back from Omaha.
No.
So, yeah, that's it for me. We're going to continue producing content, having a blast. I cannot wait for next season already, but we got to take it one day at a time.
Monty, who's your way too early ACC champion? Since I put out my way too early Omaha 8. Who's your way too early as
Georgia Tech? Georgia Tech. Send me some.
Well, then, if you're taking Georgia Tech, I'll take the Louisville Cardinals as my 2025 ACC champions. There you go, Zion. I'm going to put you in my national champion conversation as well. But no, that's great.
No, it's going to be a blast. Cannot wait. We're excited about everything. So that's it. We'll see you next time. Hopefully next week.